Hello, welcome to another episode of Southern Football Clash. I'm your host, Justin Johnson. All right, I guess I'm going to talk about it now because everybody and their mom was talking about it. A 24-team playoff. Well, we go into it, what's going to happen, what's going on. So, look, the SEC commissioner is he's against it. He is not, he's against it. Tony Petitti's trying to push it. It is it's a big thing right now. What are my things? What I think about the 2014 playoff? No, I do not want it. I mean, I can see going to 16. Necessarily, I don't want to move out of 12. I think 12 is plenty. I think if you need more than 12, you need more than 12 teams. Something's wrong. We're not a tournament. We're not a tournament. We're not, and I don't like it that way. 12, I think everybody was good with going to 12. I was okay with going to 12. 12's fine. But, 16, I mean, I'd even be okay with 16 if they went that far. Because I could say there's a few extra teams, that could have got in last year. I think that deserved to get in. That was Texas and Texas, Vanderbilt. There was other teams out there, that should have got in. But we could also say don't put in teams like JMU and Tulane. I thought that we were going to start looking at the strength of schedule. I thought we were about to start doing that. That's why, isn't that one of the reasons why the SEC agreed to do a 9-game conference, is because everybody agreed to look at the strength of schedule more, but that didn't happen. You threw in JMU and Tulane, you do what you always do. I mean, there was no sense of putting those teams in for them to get the crap beat out of them. And I'm scared that if we go to a 16 or a 24, that it's just going to be more of putting those teams in. And, but a lot of coaches are for this, the 2014 playoff, but there's a reason why. It benefits them because they could get in and they don't get fired. If they make a playoff, they're not getting fired. So they want to expand so they can get it. So I see it from their perspective, but from our perspective, no. That's too many. That is going to be 20. I don't think there's 24 teams in college football that can win a national championship. I don't think it. Not at all. I mean, Indiana won it last year. That was great. They did great. They executed, did what they needed to do. But I don't think extending it's going to help that. Indiana was the top team in the nation. That's why they got up there. Not because it extended, because they were the best. And I'm just scared that, you heard from Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby is one of them that doesn't seem too fond of it. He doesn't like that it's turning into a tournament. And, he's like, hey, I want a 40. Not saying that being for real. He's saying that because it would save his job. But I don't think he wants it to expand anymore anyway. It is getting out of hand. We don't need to go. People say it's inevitable. No, I hope that, the SEC keeps fighting against this. Need to just keep fighting. Keep fighting. Because I do not want this to come into effect. Another thing that is going to change, that for the SEC, the game rival week, the week before that, there will not be a cupcake game before that. Now that's not saying they're getting rid of that cupcake game. They're actually, I don't know where they're going to move that cup. I guess they'll move it up, since rival week is usually toward the end of the season. I'm guessing they're going to move it up, but one cupcake game did get eliminated from going to a 9-game, for the SEC going to 9 games. And everybody's like, they should have done that. Well, the SEC is agreeing to do all these things when it's literally the hardest conference to go play in. Now, like I said, Indiana was great last year. They did awesome, but I don't think if you put Indiana in the SEC and they got to play an SEC schedule, I don't think they come out unscathed. I don't think any SEC team is going to come out unscathed, because that's how hard the SEC is. It's just different down here. It's just different. You got more teams in the 10, and you still didn't get as many as the SEC did. You had more teams in the 10 than in the SEC, and the SEC made up almost half of the playoffs last year. They had 4 or 5 teams in. I mean, come on. Don't tell me the SEC is still not the hardest conference. It is. It's the toughest conference. Don't tell me that it's not. You can say all the way, well, Indiana won it. Yes, Indiana won it. But you put them in on an SEC schedule, they're not coming out unscathed. They're not. Them schedules that you get are usually not. I said it all last year. It's just a breeze. Look, I mean, look at Texas. Texas, whoo, that schedule for Texas, and they got to play Ohio State. I'm telling you guys, and the SEC has agreed to do all these things. Go to 9-game conference, but you're not going to look at the strength of schedule. So why would the SEC keep agreeing to do stuff? If you're not going to back up your deal, why should they back up theirs? Why should they? Why should they go to a 24 when you told them that 12? Okay, hey, well, you go to a 9-game conference, playing 9 games in your conference, and we'll look at it, and you didn't. And there's a reason why they wanted to go to a 9-game, folks. They know it's not for the SEC's best benefit, which I like it. Let's not get that. I love that we're going to a 9-game, SEC schedule. I like that. That's awesome. I know a lot of but if you look at it, Kirby Smart even said this. Look, the way that he looked at it last year is that Alabama and Georgia went to the SEC championship. They played 9. That's 9. That's 9 SEC games, not including whatever you play in the playoffs. But that's 9 right there. Now, if they do, when they do play this and you go into the SEC championship this year, that's 10. You'll play 10 SEC games before you even get into the playoffs. And that is a lot harder than, I know you're saying, the 10. Yeah, but that's a lot harder. You don't have, I'm telling you, you put the whole daggum SEC, I guess the Big Ten, and most of them teams in the 10 are going to get whooped by an SEC team. Put your worst against our worst, and we'll see. Who's our worst right now? Probably Arkansas. Or Kentucky. No, Kentucky is. Probably Arkansas or Kentucky. Put them against our worst, and our worst will whoop yours. I promise you. So say all you want about the SEC, but it's the toughest conference. Now, this also has been a point that SEC, I think, is going to bring to the table. Is like, hey, we can branch off ourselves. We can take the SEC and just go play SEC and then have an SEC championship and then call it, and then don't even play in there. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, that's stupid of them. Well, not when the SEC makes up almost half of the viewership for college football. Most of your viewerships are coming from the SEC. So they don't want that. So I think the SEC is going to throw that on the table. And let me just make this clear, folks. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see that. I think that's just a bargain. I think that's just something to throw at you. Hey, we make most of your money. You might want to listen to us a little bit. And I know what you're saying. The SEC gets all this power. The 10 does too. The 10 has just as much power. They really do. But I'm sorry. You got more SEC fans. I promise you. There's more SEC fans. There's more people out there watching SEC games than there is in any other conference. You want your conference to be more successful? Get more people to watch them. Get more people to watch them. Now, like I said, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's just a front. I think that's just something they're throwing out there to kind of threaten with. Eventually, I don't know what's going to happen. Will the playoffs extend? Probably. Will it be to 24? God, I hope not. I hope we go to like 16 first. I mean, let's try 12 for a couple of years, folks. We ain't even gotten to the 12 real good. We haven't. We went 4 straight to 12. We went 4-12, just like that. Now they want to go, hey, let's just skip 16 and go straight to 24. No, I don't think so, folks. That's a lot of adjustment. Now, there are some things they're talking about doing. As in, none of these things have been confirmed yet. Let me go ahead and state that. Now, one of the things they're talking about doing is like the transfer portal. You want to transfer once. I don't know if that's going to go to an effect. I have no idea. There's also talk about the 5 year. You play for five. You can play for 5 years. I don't know how that's going to be. A lot of people are complaining that some of these players are playing for too long. So, it's like a lot of these players are fighting to stay in, but some of these guys you need to just go on and, some people think it's bad that they're actually staying this, but hey, man, let them do what they want to do. That's them. That's them. Yeah, they're making money here. And I don't think that we should take away money. I really don't. I mean, I like I said, college football players should get paid. I think they should. But all this jumping around and stuff is creating problems, and I think that would be good for this transfer portal deal. I think it really is. It keeps them from jumping so much. Make them have to think about it before you do it. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. There's a lot of talk about a lot of things that are going on, and it's going to be, we're just going to keep hearing more. We got a couple months left. People are like, well, we got a long way. No, I don't think. Well, we got under 100 days to college football. I'm psyched for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for some college football. I'm ready to turn on my TV, watch some game day. And I'm a nerd about this, as you can tell. But I am just a fanatic. I'm just a nasty fan. I like to sit there and watch game day, and I will sit there and watch all the SEC games I possibly can, and I watch my Crimson Tide. However we are, I hope, things are good this year. Let's talk about, some things that are going to, I think, Auburn. Auburn's going to be a step up, I think, for sure. That whole entire team is just full of transfers, and I believe in that coach, and I think he's really good. Alex Golish. I think Florida, John Summerall, I think he's going to bring Florida up a little better. I think that's going to be better for them. I think you're going to see teams take it to another level this year. I mean, I think you really will. Alabama, I think they'll be better. I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, got a whole new front five, but I like what I'm seeing. Quarterback, we have no idea. Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, you're going to take the vet or you're going to take the young guy. The guy who's more pizzazzy looking. Pizzazzy. I ain't never said that before. This thing, first time I ever said pizzazz. But I think teams are going to be better. Arkansas, I don't know if you're going anywhere. Kentucky, yeah, I don't know. A lot's got to change on that for them teams to get better and progress. But yeah, I want to talk about some of that. Some of the things. Hey, Georgia's. I always say every year they're going to be the top team in the SEC. Kirby Smart's just the greatest mind in probably college football. Give it to the guy. That's what I want to talk about, you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the views. Thank you for subscriptions. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Appreciate you guys for watching the Southern Football Clash, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.